followers. Welcome to another episode of amazing people sharing their journey of life and where they got to, along with my coach and mentor, Andy McPhee. And today we welcome our guest, Kit Dale. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks, Doug. And hey, Kit, we really appreciate you coming on to this. You and me have been friends for a long time. We don't actually like each other, but we've been friends for a long time. No, I'm kidding. And I really, because I know you're busy, man, you've got a lot going on your day. So thanks for taking this time out to share, a bit of a dot point of your journey, how you got to where you are now. Doug's just going to give you a little brief overview of why we started this and his little journey, and then we'll jump into your story, Kit.
Nice.
All righty. How we started this was last year, I published a book that is very successful, From Green Flags to Blue Flags 2, The Amazing Comeback of an Autistic Spokesperson, which has recently been ranked number 500 something on Amazon's bestseller list for autism biographies, and it's in the top 15 in the United Kingdom. Andy came up to me and suggested that we started this series to share my story with the world in order to promote myself and my books. And he was going to bring other people like you, for instance, Kit, on board to share your amazing stories as well. And I was in a total agreement with it because this is probably going to be a successful thing. And my journey with autism is really interesting. I had a history of depression and 2 mental breakdowns and suicidal thoughts. And, I've made a tremendous comeback to create an enormous future for myself with help from Andy McPhee. And that's pretty much what my journey is like.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
buddy.
That's cool, mate. Thanks. So it's, such a great journey. He inspires me so much, this kid, I tell you. So Kit, can you just give us a little bit of a quick overview of where you are now in your success, and then we'll go back to how that started briefly.
All right. I'll do my best because my life is all over the shop as much as it's hard to explain. I'm living in Los Angeles now. I'm obviously Australian. Well, for those that don't pick it, I'm Australian. I'm a 2-time World Pro Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion. I'm one of the best-selling coaches online for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I act as well. I've been in big 30 million euro film budget movies. I'm gaming professionally at the moment, online streaming. I'm living a life that financially is quite free. I'm able to do things that I enjoy every day and learn things like skill sets and just basically spend every day the way I want to spend it in Los Angeles right now, which is probably not the way I want to spend it because we're on lockdown from coronavirus, but I'm doing the best I can with that. But that's where I am right now. Do you want me to sort of go through my story a little bit?
Yeah, and how did you get to that? Because a lot of it's listening, people go, oh yeah, well, but you're this and you're judo and you've done jiu-jitsu and you're making money. We get it because everyone's got their own success story. But you had no idea it was going to end up like that.
No, not at all.
And all started from when you were a young kid. So go from the start, mate, how you got that journey on the road.
Well, there was one time that started my thoughts opening up a little bit. And this was when I think I was 10 years old, and I was in a group called the Computer Club, which is just basically 5 of us boys where one of our friends had a computer and he printed out a paper saying Computer Club on there. Anyway, long story short, I got kicked out of the club. I can't remember why, but I stole a bit of paper, and one of the teachers grabbed it off me and told me off, but said, you can make a lot of money doing this one day. And then it just stuck in my head. I was thinking I could make money doing nothing. And then I was like, I need to figure this out. Anyway, we skip forward. I'm now in my 20s. There's one thing I'm certain of. I hate working jobs to make enough money to just continue for people that I don't like working for. I don't like waking up for somebody else and making just enough money to survive. I felt like it was really frustrating for me. I didn't understand it. I almost felt like I was born into a realm of slavery in a sense. So I was always looking for to figure out what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until I met a guy named Danny Voyer, and I was working for him at the time, and he had a group called the Hunters of Excellence Group. And it was very unusual for anyone to have that because I was working in a factory. And basically he mentored a lot of us. He's a millionaire, and he wanted to create a group mentoring people to teach people how to open up their minds and to achieve goals they want to achieve. So he really, in a long story short, he really taught me that I could have whatever it is I want to a certain limit, as long as I'm willing to put in the work. I'm not going to be an NBA basketballer. I'm 5'9". I'm not expecting to be an NBA basketballer or anything, so I wouldn't have those kind of goals. But inside of the realm of my physical realm, I could probably do whatever I wanted. And at the time, I was like, okay, what do I want to do? The only thing I really enjoy doing is Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So I thought, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and become one of the best Brazilian jiu-jitsu competitors on the planet. And within 3 or 4 years, I got my black belt, which was quicker than anyone else with no prior grappling experience. Most people take 10 to 15 years to get a black belt.
Wow.
In jiu-jitsu. Plus, I won multiple world championships on the way. I won the Brazilian national championship in Brazil. I competed in Japan, Turkey, Abu Dhabi, America, Brazil, Australia, and probably 10 other countries that I can't remember right now. I won 2 world titles on the way there, and I achieved that goal. And once I got to that, I was kind of like, okay, I feel like that was the proof in the pudding that if I set my mind to something and I approach it intelligently with effort, I'm going to be able to become successful. So then I ended up hurting my knee playing Australian rules football. I stepped back from jiu-jitsu for a little bit because I felt like I did what I wanted to in that realm. And then I started playing Australian rules football, and I hurt my knee. And this is probably the time where I met Andy in a sec. So I hurt my knee. I tore my anterior crucial ligament. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to do any football for a long time, which frustrated me because I was enjoying that coaching with my brother as well. So I met Andy, and I can't remember who put me on to you, Andy.
Your agent, I forget his name.
Oh, yeah, Daniel Schaaf.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I knew of Andy already because I'd watched him in many movies. So I didn't even know I was going to meet Andy McPhee because I didn't realize, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. And I met Andy, and it was great because we both think, we're both very similar. I'm obviously a much better looking version of him.
Well, yeah, whatever.
We're very similar. So it was great, because I told Andy my goals, and I had quite large goals considering my level in acting, which was pretty much 0 at the time. And I told Andy what I wanted to do, and straight away he was like, okay, this is what we need to do. And it was good because he believed in me. There's a lot of other people I would tell, this is what I want to do, and they'd be like, yeah, sure, I've heard that before, no worries. But Andy believed me, and he told me what to do, and we started working on it. And then before you know it, just like things started happening, like you said, with the American accent. I was like, I want to become, I want to be one of the best actors in the world. He said, we're going to need an American accent because there's not many Australian roles going at the moment. So I was like, okay, let's work on it. We started working on that. We started working on many things. And then before we know it, I got a message off Facebook, which is really weird. A message from a director saying, hey, I was just scrolling through my newsfeed and I saw your profile pop up and you look exactly the way I pictured one of the main characters in a movie I wrote. Would you be interested in auditioning? I'm just thinking like, this must be a student, doing a student film or something. So I looked him up real quickly and I saw, no, he was a director, like a proper director. And I saw the last movie he did. So I was like, okay, yeah, I can do one. So I did a video audition. Me and Andy worked on it. I sent it to them. They really liked it. They sent back another audition, much bigger this time. We did that as well. And I remember I was FaceTiming you, Andy, when I was rehearsing that, if you can remember.
Yeah.
Yep. And you helped me really nut out the American accent as well. I sent that to them. The director loved it. He wanted me, but we had to get the producers over the line. So we had a meeting with producers, and I think they got my vibe. They understood that I was going to do anything I could to make this a reality. So they went back and forth with my agent. I got the role. We had, I think, six weeks before the role. They wanted me to put on about 10 kilograms of muscle. So I was training twice a week in the gym. I was doing American accents, the Bob Korf American accents in my ear almost all day, doing the roles, talking to Andy, getting ready for that. And then I went across there and I shot it, and it was great. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life that really showed me, okay, this is how I want to spend, a majority of my life is acting in movies, because it's just so much fun. And I understand why Andy does it. It's just a creative outlet that can really help and touch people. So I really enjoyed it. So I did that. I did the movie. I came back. I used the money to fix my knee because I didn't have health insurance and I needed to get my knee reconstructed. I fixed my knee. As soon as I fixed my knee, I went back and I created a program online for teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because I understood that with acting, you can be 10 years without having a role, and you need to find other ways to, monetize your situation to be able to keep you afloat. Otherwise, you're going to be in a lot of stress and probably not have the time to put into acting. So I created a program online teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in a very different way to what most people teach Jiu-Jitsu, because I really looked at the science behind learning, and I tried to figure out how was I able to achieve a black belt, a world-class black belt in 4 years, while everyone else took 15 years. So I started studying learning, and I learned a lot about anthropology, learning psychology, the biology. And I put a program together teaching people how to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in a much more effective way. And we sold probably 30,000
Wow.
copies of that. It's downloadable. Now it's streamable. So it was a big success, and it allowed me to fund the lifestyle in which I live right now, which is basically doing things that I enjoy, studying things I enjoy every day. Right now, I'm doing a lot of gaming because of the situation with COVID. A lot of, as Andy would tell you, a lot of the production companies are still slowly starting to get back into it, and some aren't. So there's not a lot. I haven't had an audition for a while, but I'm not letting that slow me down. I'm like, okay, well, I can still study good movies, scripts, write a little bit myself. And I've been gaming a lot, playing online games, a shooter called Apex. And I started streaming that on a channel called Twitch and building up that channel, which is good. We've nearly got to 1,000 people on there now, which brings in, anywhere between $500 and $700 a month, which is not, a lot of money, but it still helps. And it's only early days. So I think that can really build that up and do really well in the long run. And it's easy to do, especially in situations like this where everyone's locked down. It's great. It gives me like a mental outlet because I'm competing online. It's frustrating as well. Like it brings me as much frustration as it does joy. But at least I'm always trying to, grow in a certain area and be passionate about something. I feel like the only time I'm not really happy is when I've got nothing to be passionate about. Yeah.
And look, that's a great share. And again, like all the guests we have on here, and including my journey, myself and Doug's, we're all at different levels. But the key note through all of this is none of this would have happened if you, for a start, didn't take on the mentoring that you got and went, okay, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I'm going to give it a go. And it could have flopped, but it didn't. And then the fact that you saw that you could do it and you achieved things that other people weren't. And, that doesn't mean other people are going to do that. Like someone else might start off and it still might take them 10 years to get a black belt, but that doesn't mean that they still can't chase their dream. It does. The point is you just don't give up and you keep looking for opportunities and you keep dealing with the falls and the failures and you keep getting up and you keep going forward. And where you're at now from where we met years ago is just like, wow, it's just amazing. And same with Doug, like 5 years ago, who would have thought he's now got a book? He's written 8 books. We're doing one together, science fiction, but this one book he wrote on his journey is now skyrocketing and it will bring him in finances because Doug doesn't fit in the workforce and he's creating very similar to what you're doing, working at home and creating finances, and he's taken that on. So it doesn't matter what part of life you're in, you just can't give up. You cannot give up, Hey, Doug, would you like to ask Kit some questions before we head out?
Oh, sure. What was your upbringing like and where are you originally from?
I grew up in the Yarra Valley in Melbourne, Australia. It was a small school that I went to as a primary school. There was a total of 52 kids, 52 students. So there wasn't many people there. We were quite secluded. My childhood was normal. I had 2 younger brothers. One's about a year and 10 months younger. The other one's about 3.5 years younger. So I spent most of my childhood trying to find ways to torment them. And, we grew up just like most kids, just playing around, messing around. My mum and dad were great. Mum's Italian. She came from a huge family with she's got 5 sisters and 4 brothers. Dad's got 2 sisters and 7 brothers. So 2 big families of 10. So a lot of my growing up was with my cousins and brothers, where we just messed around, just like normal kids. But I ended up having like a lot of anxiety when I was around 16 years old. I started having panic attacks and stuff. So my life sort of drastically changed for a little bit. And I struggled for a long time with that. And then I started overcoming that and started pushing through that, because I didn't want to.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
What was the little trigger that helped you get over that anxiety? Because there's so many people around the world suffering anxiety now. I mean, even I've had bouts of it, like during COVID, you know. And Doug as well, you know. So what was that little thing, if you can remember, that actually helped you get over that line?
Well, initially what I was having is I was waking up in the middle of the night and having panic attacks, and I had no idea why. It just would happen. I'd wake up, my heart rate would be through the roof. I felt sick, nauseous. I'd be like just panicking. I didn't know why. So I ended up seeing a Chinese herbalist who changed my diet, had a look at a lot of different things. It was quite interesting, actually. Changed my diet, gave me these herbs. And then from then on, I never had one of those exact panic attacks. A few years later, it sort of changed. I started getting just general anxiety from just normal situations that I had no idea why. And so I've had to deal with that for many years. And a lot of it's like, I think recently, what I did wrong, which also helped, was I distracted myself from the anxiety a lot. I found that if I could distract myself, then it would just go away and then I wouldn't feel that. But it wasn't a really good method, because it's almost like medicating yourself instead of attacking it. So now what I'm trying to do is a lot more meditation and breath work. I see a guy, I've got a mentor now that I see, and we're doing a lot of like different meditation and just trying to get me to focus. And because I definitely feel like I was undiagnosed with ADD. It's very hard for me to like even listen to someone. If someone's slowly talking to me, it's very hard. Like I just want to do like 1,000 things. So right now I'm trying to focus on facing it and just sitting in it and trying to beat it and not run away from it anymore.
Yeah, that's great, Kit. Like, see, because this is the part where like people hear someone's story and they think, oh, wow, it's all great for them. But no, you're a human being who deals with being a human being, but like, again, the purpose of this with Doug's story and yours and the other guests is to get people to go, it's okay to have this. It's really okay, because you're a human being, but don't leave it as being okay and not seek mentoring, professional help if you need it, or even just finding your own tribe. The saying is, your vibe is your tribe. Well, find people in the areas that you want to advance in and create, because it's not going to be an easy journey. It's fun, but it'll never be easy. You've got to keep creating, you've got to keep dealing with failures, and you've got to keep moving through. So that's great, mate. That's great. And look, we're out of time, but Doug, is there anything you want to finish off with, just to ask Kit before we head out?
I don't really have any more questions to ask, because I think he's told a good story, but I do want to say for the record that I have written some screenplays before. This one I wrote in a single month. It's based on the biblical story of Moses, and I did it for a high school project called NaNoWriMo, which a lot of my students did, and I was the only one to succeed in the goal and actually publish it.
That's amazing, bro. That's so good.
I think in the future he's going to, I believe he will write a screenplay and get a film up and running, and it'll probably be about something similar to his journey. So anyone who can write.
You get me and Andy casted in it.
That's already worked out, mate.
In fact, this screenplay right here, Ray Guns Akronos, War on Claudiusville, I modeled a character after Andy McPhee, and I'm hoping that if it gets picked up, he'll portray
like
the
Gollum?
character.
Lord of the Rings?
No, it's Ray Guns of Kronos, War on Claudiusville. And it's
That's awesome.
He's teasing you, mate. You're lucky you're not in the same room with him. You probably would have given him one under the chin.
That's amazing, bro. That's really good. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it's great.
And I got to
Well,
tell you, I recently interviewed the producer of The Prince of Egypt.
Really?
Ever seen
Yeah,
him?
he's done some amazing things, Doug. He interviews NASCAR drivers. He's done some amazing stuff. You just check out his YouTube channel when you can. But look, we've run out of time. We've got to head off. Kit, really appreciate you sharing that. And Doug, again, thanks for being open with your journey and hoping to inspire other people watching this. So thanks.
Thank you for having me on, buddy.
Thank you very much, guys. And we really appreciate that you joined us today, Kit.
Hey, anytime, man. Nice to meet you, buddy.
Nice to meet you, and we'll keep in touch. And everybody, whenever you have a chance, check out my very first work of literature, From Green Flags to Blue Flags, The Story of My Life. So thank you all for joining me, and please hit like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Movie Maker Doug 55. And we'll see you next time on Being Relentless and Unstoppable.
Love it.